this has never happened before. This is the first time that a spouse has had the wonderful opportunity I have today to present my wife for induction into the Astronaut Hall of Fame. All of my friends, I think they are my friends, in the astronaut corps have been telling me, you know, this could be kind of risky. Don't mess this up. As a fighter pilot, it could be very risky to land aboard an aircraft carrier at night. What I'm doing right now could be just as risky. But this is really a thrill for me. And I want to say that we astronauts owe a real debt of gratitude to Dr. Rhea Seddon, because she eagerly embraced life sciences and everything involving life sciences. Now, you mentioned life sciences to the astronauts, and what does that mean to us? That means needles. That means blood drugs. That means all kinds of horrible animal torture directed against us, humans. Rhea eagerly embraced it. And that's why she was part of the first Space and Life Sciences mission, SLS-2, and then payload commander on SLS-1. Rhea grew up in a small town in Tennessee. It used to be a small town in Tennessee called Murfreesboro, and I think half of Murfreesboro is here tonight. Can you make some noise, Murfreesboro? Yes. She has a great many friends here from Murfreesboro, and we are thrilled to have our dear friends from back home here with us tonight. You know, we've heard an awful lot about chief astronauts tonight. We have 4 former chief astronauts on the stage. We have seen several other former chief astronauts grace the stage. And I want to say something about that. It was a really exalted position. I was extremely honored to hold that position. And our chief astronauts have been real leaders. But you know what? Not one of us was a pioneer or a trailblazer like Dr. Rhea Seddon was, as one of the first 6 women astronauts. She was in that very first group, the first time we ever selected women. And we've all had an interesting career. We've all had challenges presented to us. I don't know that any of them were more significant than the challenges that got presented to our first group of women astronauts, because there was a tremendous amount of focus on the first 6 women. And I think there were a lot of people sitting there saying, can the women really hack it? Well, there is no doubt about it. The women have hacked it easily as good, if not better, than any of us ever did, because we weren't under the same microscope that they were. Rhea and I took turns flying. I flew in 1984 as the astronaut hero, and she was the astronaut spouse. 1985, she was the astronaut hero, and I got to be the astronaut spouse. I flew in 86, and it went on that way the whole time we were there. We took turns flying, so one of us would be the hero, and the other one would be the spouse. Now, I got asked all the time, did you and Rhea ever fly together in space? And the joke that I like to tell is, well, no, you know, that really wouldn't have worked. It just wouldn't have worked out. Most of the time when I flew, I was the mission commander. And so how's it going to work? I turn to Rhea and I say, Rhea, it's time to open the sun shields. And she's going to say, you want the sun shields open, you go open them yourself. Don't try and pull this mission commander stuff on me. So it just wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked for us to fly together. Now, okay, that's a joke, that never happened. But here's a true story. This actually did happen. When I was made chief astronaut, I couldn't supervise my wife, because in the government service, you can't be your wife's boss or supervise. So what they did was, on a piece of paper, a worthless piece of paper, they transferred her to report directly to my boss, the director of flight operations. So I remember, you know, several times I'd say, Rhea, you know what you need to do? You need to do this. And she'd say, I don't work for you. And I'd say, yes, you do. You're an astronaut. I'm the chief astronaut. You work for me. And she'd say, no, I don't. I report to the director of flight operations. So why should it be any different in the office than it was at home? As a spouse, I had to get over some things that took a little while to get used to. When Ray and I first married, she kept her maiden name. That's why she's still Rhea Seddon. And the boys, my buddies in the Astronaut Corps, put a name tag on my locker in the astronaut gym that said, Hoot Seddon. I gotta tell you, it really torqued me off. And I knew darn well that if I did what I wanted to do, which was rip that thing off the locker, throw it in the trash, there'd be another one up the very next day. So I knew that I couldn't do that. So I let it sit there for 3 years. And then I ripped it off and threw it in the trash. And fortunately, I didn't get another one. But there were things that I had to get used to. Speaking of, when I first married Ray, I want to thank all of you for being here today to celebrate our 34th wedding anniversary, which is today. So this is the real reason that all of us are here today. I also had one more opportunity to learn to smile and be a good spouse. Along with John Blaha's crew, STS 58, we attended the Fiesta Bowl. I think it was 1993. And her crew was the featured crew, and I was there. At the time, I was the chief astronaut, but I was an astronaut spouse attending the Fiesta Bowl. You can see it coming. They had a name tag for me, and it said, Mr. Seddon. So, over the years, I have learned to handle all of this. Well, Ray and I have been extremely fortunate. We have been extremely lucky. I have been extremely lucky to have her. We enjoyed flying 8 missions between the two of us over that 18, 19 years that we spent at NASA. And we got to work with wonderful folks like these. So what an experience it has been for us. What a journey it has been for us. Maybe I can't say that. Ray, life with you has been beyond my wildest dreams. On behalf of the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation, welcome to the Astronaut Hall of Fame.